Yeah. So anywhere from your spine, all this energy, and it shoots this way. When we talk about root, your root, if you think about the earth as being a part of that root, your root doesn't exist in your legs. It exists from the earth. The root actually travels from the ground into here, into this center, into this part, right? Where your brain also, and all the chemical reactions and everything that stimulates the spine is key, also comes into play. So your root, thanks Joe, becomes your center. So when people think of root, they think about, boom, here, this is where your root. This is being drawn up to your root. This is your root, right? And this is being drawn into your root. And everything, your whole body becomes that root. In grappling, or in holds, or anything of that nature, if Joe grabs me, right? Here, just anywhere, just grab anywhere. He grabs me, as he's holding me here, he becomes my root. This is what I'm going to work with. So from here, this is where I get all these movements from. All from here. If I try to root here or here, I'm moving around, I'm wrestling, all this becomes my root, and this is where you start to have that motion and movement. So the person himself becomes the root, right? So you kind of combined with that individual. And that's where you get that idea of expansion and contraction when you get into the grappling moves, right? Where you can become harder. And you can feel what's coming in. We'll get into that, how insidious this works, how it comes into everything. Now, whenever I take a step or anything into combat, I'm not just thinking about this part coming in and bringing it down. I mean, as you become more aware, as you're just walking or any type of motion, it triggers, like it's like a muscle memory. Muscle memory is very important. It's the difference between when somebody startles you and you just go, ah, and somebody startles you and you're there, that's muscle memory. So it just automatically, you come into these types of muscle memory groups. So when you step or when you walk, right, and when you do all this, hey Matt, I didn't expect you, right?
No one expects a Spanish Inquisition.
So when you step, or when you're doing anything, when anything that surprises you or comes at you, you automatically have that. That should be in existence in every day, every action in your life, or every motion in your life. So if he's standing out here, come over here, right? If he's standing here and he's up, my first step is here. When I step here, if I'm concentrating on this part here, right? This part here automatically lines me up. Okay, now you can relax for a second. So the reason this here, as far as the spine, without getting too technical, if you look at your spine, getting technical, right? If you look at your spine has all of these fluids. It's very, very important, right? And it's kind of like your nervous system. It's all connects to all the mini brains within your system. So the stronger that is, and the more lined up it is, the more powerful you're going to be. Also your heart being straight, not being hunched over. Your shoulders not squaring, not being hunched over when you're doing. Leaning into the fight, or as far as combat. So you're generating all that electrical power that you have, right? Which is where you feel my hand come right through you, right? Like when you get into heavy hands and whatnot, right? So the reason, not just the spine itself becomes important. Your spine connecting here, right? Connecting with all the brain power that you have moving throughout your body. Like Lao Tzu says, let the mind melt throughout the body. As it melts throughout the body becomes more one. Right? It works together as a team. You need to work the whole body as a team. So your spine becomes important. As I step here, and I make whatever step, any type of fighting, whether I'm startled, boom, whatever happens, it's all connected to here. When I step here, if I step here, I'm concentrating on all that, where we talk about the chi, and I'm bringing all this in. But this pushes my hip, because I become aware of where my hip is, and how straight this is, and what proper movement is to my action. So if Mighty Joe is standing out here again, and he takes a fighting position, and I'm standing this way here, I'm not going like this here and feel I have to lean to have power into my punches, right? The first thing I'm doing is I'm concentrating. So as I step, this all comes in. Whatever motion. And each motion has deeper and more intense areas. Anytime you throw, of course, it's even more intense. But your root has to begin and starts before you throw. And your root and your core, your center, already knows which way it's going to go, what it's going to do. So it all happens in nanoseconds, right? As I step here, taking it slow, as I come out here, this part here isn't stepping here, I'm just concentrating here and moving my body forward. I'm also thinking about this point here. So when I step, this moves. So you see how I move this out? I'm over-exaggerating it a little bit, because you never see it, right? You guys never see it, but we're going to show it to you. So as I come out here, I'm not stepping this way and tightening up and bringing everything down into that core. I'm also tightening this up, and this pushes this forward. So it's lining me up now. So as I come down, I have this movement, and this is where it's lining me up. It's not doing this. It's not doing this. I'm not doing this, right? I'm coming right from here. So this pushes here like a string, right? Like I'm going this way here. Concentrating on this point as I'm moving, my back keeps my posture and my reach there. So I'm not reaching this way, right? I'm not reaching this way to come out. I'm coming out, I'm stepping here, I'm moving in here, my reach is coming from here. So it shows me my reach is coming this way. With a little bit of movement from here now, you see? A little bit of movement from here, it puts me right in, right? Without this. So my motion comes here. This here, instead of reaching this way, reaches in this way. So now my punch comes this way instead of this way. This moves it and it changes this. You see? So it is not just about, everything's tethered together. Root is not, it's positioning. So root is, from the earth is moving up through my legs and coring this way. I'm not rooting down into the earth, because then I don't have movement and also don't have yin-yang foot. Yes, yin-yang foot, one foot is solid, so it has foundation. The other has the movement, and they completely switch, and that's how you move from one place to the other, which we were working on a little bit on that movement technique. So if he's standing here, my motion is here. This automatically switches to here and allows me to see how I'm moving in. So this move moves in. So whatever he's going to do, plus I still have these legs. And I'm not doing this here. I'm not reaching for my opponent. And when you fight, you're fighting from here. Your techniques are moving in. It's just all this motion. It's just deadly. So your hits now also have to be with all your formal training. Your percussion training, where you hit and you come back with it. Otherwise, you've got to smash your hand. You know, his head, his body is much stronger, you know, his bone than the hand. My hand.
It's pretty solid up there.
It's pretty solid, especially in this guy, right? So you have to be able to hit on that shot. So your hits on the percussion shots are always coming backwards. So if Mighty Joe is standing here and I'm coming out this way here, this is where you push, you see? So when you guys push, you're not doing a percussion shot, you're pushing your shot. I'm not saying that doesn't hurt. You know, it hurts, but we want to stop. So here, if I'm coming this way here, all I'm doing is pushing. If I'm coming here and I'm moving here and I'm coring, now I switched everything here, now that shot is on the boom, it's on the back motion. I'm coming back on it. So it's not, he feels the shot, it touches, and when it hits here, it comes back. And on the back it hits. Now when this comes, boom, it comes in, it's so damaging. And plus my fist now is not being buried into his head. I'm hitting to the head and boom, ricocheting back on it, which is what causes your brain and your body to go into shock. The three types of knockouts are, one is extreme pain, which is very rare anybody passes out from that, especially any trained fighter, somebody's training for their life. The other knockout is your brain floats on fluid, it hits the wall of your skull and it knocks you out, which is definitely going to do it on that percussion shot. And the other is putting the system into shock, which is the knockouts that are the best ones.